We would like to welcome all our guests from different parts of the world, namely, of course, our country, Philippines, from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We have from the USA, Canada, Australia. We have from UAE, Korea, Hong Kong. We have Japan as well, United Kingdom, Marianas Islands, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, and Qatar. So I would like to congratulate everyone for a job well done because we are almost 1,000 members and more inside the closed group page in this wellness conference. And we also want to acknowledge the presence of one of our business partners, a very supported business partners, Mr. Yoshihiro Mizowachi from the USA. And since the first day, by the way, of our conference, we are receiving inspiring and motivating comments from our attendees. And this is the moment we've been waiting for, finally. So this is the night that we've been waiting for. So I would like to turn you over to our director, Ms. Ilsa Reyes, to formally introduce our very special guest for tonight.
Thank you very much, Executive Director Mylene Andaya. So folks, we're all excited because we are privileged to have this gentleman who has such vision in his heart and in his mind and in his whole being. You know, when he was still a child, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to be an inventor, even though his father at first was saying there's no such career as an inventor or being an inventor. Nevertheless, as young as he was already determined to reach this goal and the mission that was placed in his heart. And so he grew up and voila, he really lived out this very important purpose in his life and continues to do so. He has a very long list of credentials. I will not be able to mention each one of them, but at least I would like to give some important points regarding his background. He actually studied management information systems and biology, a great combination, by the way, at Pace University in Pleasantville in New York. He's a recipient of the Advanced Technology Award given by the International Hall of Fame, sponsored by the Inventors Club of America, for helping alleviate pain and suffering for veterans. And by the way, through his endeavors, a lot of victims of calamities have also been helped. He received a special award from the Military Order of the Purple Heart, and he is a holder of 94 issued patents, and he will still have other patents coming. Ladies and gentlemen, this man woke up very early, and we can see from there and from that action alone that he is a sacrificial person. You know, he knows how to go out of his comfort zone to serve others, a real servant leader indeed. May I now introduce our beloved Lifewave CEO and the brilliant inventor, David Schmidt. Good evening, David.
Good evening. How are you today? Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're all
apologies. This was in my calendar for tomorrow morning. So when this was set up, the time change wasn't taken into consideration. So my apologies. I wasn't here a little bit earlier, but I am ready to go. Let's see. Okay, you've enabled the screen sharing, so that's perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. We are incredibly excited about everything that is happening in the Philippines. And of course, this has been a long time in making for us, but we're really excited that finally we have an office in the Philippines. I want to thank Dang for doing just a marvelous job in helping to get everything set up. And we're looking forward to doing live meetings, hopefully in 2021, so we can get back over there, myself and the entire marketing team, and support you the way that we would like to. But today, we are going to be talking about stem cells, regenerative science, the future of medicine, and how you can get involved with it today, and how people all across the world are benefiting from X39 and from Lifewave. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to be taking a little bit of time today to go through the journey that Lifewave has been on these past 12 years in researching, developing, and then introducing this new stem cell technology so people all across the world could benefit from it. And what you're going to see is that there are enormous advantages to this approach as opposed to stem cell injections. Now, first, let's go ahead and define the problem. Why do we need a new approach to stem cells? Well, the first thing is stem cells exist throughout our body. A good way to think about this is that stem cells are a universal cell, and every cell that's in your body was once a stem cell. So in other words, the cells that make up your liver, your kidneys, your heart, at one time, they were all stem cells. And as we age, the stem cells age with us. They begin to slow down, they lose their ability to repair things, and then eventually, by the time you get into your 70s, there are no more stem cells. So stem cells play a very important role in how we age and how our body will repair itself. Now, there are stem cell injections, but their use is extremely limited today. Stem cell science is still in its infancy. You probably know that stem cell injections are very expensive. Here in the United States, they're about $3,000 to $5,000 US per injection. There's some risks that are associated with it. Sometimes stem cells can actually damage healthy tissue. Stem cells also do not always produce a beneficial outcome. In other words, you inject the stem cells and they have no effect. The most advanced treatments of stem cells are not approved yet. So, for example, in Japan this past year, they began clinical trials on using stem cells as a treatment for Parkinson's disease. But this is still in scientific studies. It's not available yet as a treatment. So what I began to look at was, could we use the stem cells that are already in your body and make them behave like younger, healthier cells? If we could use the stem cells that are already in your body, it would have enormous advantages. Now, over the last 12 years, we've accumulated over 70 patents just in the field of stem cell science and stem cell medicine. As a matter of fact, just this week, I received 2 more patents, one in the United States and one in Japan. And both patents were on the use of light to disassemble viruses. So there's a number of very creative uses for light. But of course, we're going to talk about stem cells today. So we have quite a bit of intellectual property. Now, our initial work with stem cells was done in collaboration with the National University of Ireland in Galway, and we worked at their Regenerative Medicine Institute. This work was funded by the Irish government through an organization called Scientific Foundation Ireland. And this is one of the devices that I invented and we developed at our laboratories in San Diego. This technology has now become patented, and it is a device that will activate the stem cells in the body. Now, we've done laboratory testing. We did a study that I'm going to show you here on rabbits. And then, of course, we have done clinical studies on human beings. And basically what happens is you form a wound in the ear of the rabbit, and then you measure the rate at which the wound will heal. And on our very first try, we were able to significantly increase the rate of wound healing in the group that was treated with this electromagnetic device. Now, interestingly, when we applied stem cells to the injury, it healed at exactly the same rate as the group that was treated with the electromagnetic field. So in other words, we found out in this study, you don't have to inject stem cells. You can activate the stem cells already in the body and produce a healing effect equivalent to applying stem cells. So that was very exciting. Now, this is one of the species that we work with at our labs in San Diego. It's called the planaria, and it's a flatworm. And what's remarkable about the planaria is that when you cut off its head, it will regenerate in 17 days. Researchers are trying to figure out how could we get that down to 15 days. And you can imagine if we can understand how the planaria has this remarkable regenerative capability, we would be able to regrow organs and limbs in human beings. So this is why we study these things. On our very first attempt, we were able to regenerate the head of the planaria in only 8 days, so in about half the time. In our most sophisticated version, which we received a patent on, we were able to regenerate the head of the planaria in only 16 and a half hours. So we're doing some very cutting edge work here. Now, the disadvantage of this, so why aren't we using this today on people? Well, it's extremely expensive, and so it's not affordable to everyone. The equipment needs to be operated by a doctor or a technician. So we wanted to be able to apply stem cell therapy in a unique way to everyone. So how does X39 work, and how is this going to activate your stem cells without having to use a big expensive device? Well, over the last 20 years, I've been developing light therapy devices. And so X39 is going to activate stem cells by stimulating the skin with light. Now, fortunately, we don't have to use any big, bulky lamps or lasers. Instead, we're going to use a patch that contains materials that will stimulate the skin with light. Now, you can place this patch about anywhere. You can apply the patch to the back of your neck, below the belly button. If you want to apply it, if you have an injury like a injured knee, or if you have a cut, if you want to apply it near those injuries, you can do that as well. But what we found in our clinical research is that you apply one patch and it works for the entire body. Now, what happens? Well, the patches contain organic materials, and when you stimulate the skin with light, it produces a biochemical change in the body. So in other words, you apply the patch, it's activated by your body heat, and then the patch will stimulate the skin with light. It begins to reflect light that stimulates the skin. In biology, this is a process called photobiomodulation, but a really easy way to understand this, you go out in the sun and light will cause your body to make vitamin D. And I know that living in the Philippines, you get plenty of sunshine, so you should have great levels of vitamin D, which is awesome because, as a side note, it's been found that people with high levels of vitamin D are less susceptible to COVID. So just by living in the Philippines, going outside, getting plenty of natural sunshine, You're elevating your vitamin D and you're protecting yourself from COVID. But this is the same biochemical process that we're using. We're using light to create a chemical change in the body. Now, the question though is, how do we activate stem cells with this light? Well, instead of elevating vitamin D, what we're going to do is elevate a peptide called GHKCU, or just another way to refer to it is simply copper peptide. Now, this peptide was first discovered actually about almost 50 years ago now by Dr. Lauren Picard. And this peptide has some really amazing benefits. First thing is that it will reset about a third of human genes to a younger, healthier state. So in other words, you put on X39 and your cells start to behave like younger, healthier cells. Another thing, of course, that copper peptide will do is it will mobilize or activate the stem cells. So in other words, if you have an injury, increasing your copper peptide will get those stem cells to go to where the injury is. Now, how do we know that X39 elevates copper peptide? Well, we have performed multiple clinical studies. This is one of the ones we've done using blood testing, and we have others, that shows that when you apply X39, it is going to immediately elevate levels of GHK and GHKCU. As a matter of fact, you apply copper peptide, and within the first 24 hours, your peptide levels start to increase. Our copper peptide levels will decline with age. So actually, by the time we get over the age of 60, our copper peptide levels have already decreased by 60 to 80%. And this actually parallels the decrease in stem cell activity. So in other words, we elevate our copper peptide levels and we are going to see an increase in stem cell activity. Now, are there any other benefits to elevating copper peptide other than activating stem cells? And it turns out that there are. When people use X39, they experience a broad array of benefits. And that's one of the things that we've studied in scientific research. So here's a clinical study that we've performed. This one was on 50 people, and it was done to the gold standard, double-blind, placebo-controlled, with the average age being over 60. Now, what we found within the first week of using X39 is that we had a remarkable change in the metabolism. So think about this for yourself, for your family and friends, for people that you're going to share X39 with. Most people are going to experience benefits within the very first week, many even within the first day. So what are some of those benefits? Well, first we find that the metabolism improves. And the amino acids in the body, and the amino acids make the proteins, those are going to increase in their usage. So in other words, we have proof here that people recover from exercise more quickly, people recover from injuries more quickly, and even the collagen in the skin is increased, and we get skin tightening from this. The memory improves. Even within the first week of using X39, we find that the short-term and the mid-term memory improves. When people have high blood pressure, we find the blood pressure begins to come down even within the first week. The heart goes into a state of relaxation. Even within the first day, people are sleeping better. People have more energy. And even within the first week, there's a relaxation response where the breathing becomes deeper. So in other words, you apply X39 and you're activating your stem cells, but you're getting tremendous health benefits throughout your entire body. Now, one of the things that most of us are concerned about as we age is our brain and our ability to think, process information, and remember. And most of us, when we get over the age of 60, we begin to have a decline in our brain function. And the question is there anything that we can do about that? And fortunately, the answer is yes. And what you're going to see here right now is incredibly dramatic. Now, I should tell you a little bit about the doctor that we've been working with on these studies. There's 2 of them now. I'll show you the results from the first one. His name is Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. And previous to working with us, he was working at UCLA in California in nuclear fusion. His expertise is in laser spectroscopy, and some of the studies that we have performed with him have looked at light emission from the cells. So in other words, you can actually see light coming off the body if you have the right equipment, and you can correlate that with different health effects. So what we wanted to do in this study is look to see if activating the stem cells would have any effect on the human brain. In this study, we used 12 people. They were over the age of 50, and we wanted to find out what would happen if you wore X39 12 hours a day over a period of 6 weeks. Now, session 1 is at baseline, so a person has not used X39 yet. Session 2 is after 3 weeks, and session 3 is after 6 weeks. Now, when you see these red areas, these are areas of stress, agitation, anxiety. They're higher frequency brain waves. This is a woman, this first example here is a woman that's 77 years old. And we would expect that someone that's 77 would have no stem cell activity in their body, little to none. And what's incredible here is that only within 3 weeks, there was a dramatic improvement. What's happening is that the brain is going into a state of relaxation and a state of coherence. So as we get away from these red zones, the different regions of the brain are efficiently communicating with one another, and that means we're going to have better health. So the first test that we did, looking at blood and urine testing, we can actually see changes in the brain chemistry, and here is where we map the brain specifically, and we can see where the changes are occurring. And after 6 weeks at session 3, there's continued improvement. Now, here's a gentleman that's 67 years old, and you can see his condition at baseline, and you can see after 3 weeks, there's a significant improvement. Now, while most people are going to experience benefits the first 1 to 3 weeks, some people take a little bit longer. Some people don't have the best diet. They may not exercise. They may not drink enough water. They may not get enough sleep. And so these people will take a little bit longer to respond. So if you're in that group, keep using the product and give it a little bit of time. But we can see after 6 weeks of use, there's now a very dramatic change as compared to when he started. Now, what happens in real life? That's some interesting laboratory testing, but what are some of the things that people are experiencing? This is a gentleman from Italy, and he had open heart surgery. And you can see a year after the surgery, he still had a pretty bad scar. X39 first went into pre-launch in July of 2018. He began to use the patch, and you can see that after only 1 month, there has been a dramatic reduction in the appearance of that scar. And this is because stem cells do a fantastic job at making new collagen, and they can even repair old injuries. Now, here's something very similar. This was a newer injury, of course, but even after 2 weeks, this woman was able to experience a significant improvement in her injury. Now, you can really apply the patch just about anywhere. You can apply it behind the neck, below the belly button. If you want to apply it directly at the injury, you can do that. Any of those places, it's going to work great. Here's a young man who lives in France. His mother is a Lifewave distributor. He was in a snowboarding accident just a few days before a job interview. She applied X39, and you can see that in only 5 days, there was a dramatic improvement. Now, this was an incredible case of a gentleman that was in a car accident, and you can see he nearly lost his hand. After using X39 for 2 months, there's barely a trace of that scar. Now, that's a pretty dramatic example, but I'm actually going to show you something even more dramatic. And this is a young 9-year-old boy from Denmark. He got his finger caught in a door, and the tip of the finger was severed off. The parents rushed him to the hospital, and the doctors reattached the finger. Now, the doctors told the parents that there was nothing they could do, that the fingertip would die, but the parents insisted, please reattach it. So the fingertip began to die. They applied X39, and in only 2 months, there was virtually no trace that injury had ever occurred. The doctor was amazed and said, this shouldn't even be possible. And if something like this were to happen, it would normally take 9 months to heal. Now, of course, not everyone has an injury. Those of you that are completely healthy, why would you want to activate your stem cells? Well, there's a really good reason for that, is that when we help support the activity of the stem cells and keep them young and healthy, they will help the body make new, younger, healthier cells. Here's a great example of this. This woman's name is Mandy, and she is one of our distributors in Australia. And she first started using X39 just to help maintain her health. Over a period of 6 weeks, she had a dramatic improvement in the quality of her skin. You can see the skin tightening that occurred there, and she had a reduction in the appearance of her lines and wrinkles. She, of course, continued to use X39, and you can see after a year the incredible change that occurred from day one. Now, this was actually our very first testimonial with Youth Renewal. This woman is 93 years old, and she's from Denmark. Her daughter is a Lifewave distributor, and her mother was suffering with a number of very significant health conditions. So she gave her mom X39 in the hope that this would improve her health. Everyone was shocked at what happened to her over the next 2 months, and you can see this incredibly dramatic improvement in her health. I'm going to show you some other testimonials real quick. And these are some new ones that we have received that I thought I would share with you. Again, other than injuries, the product is incredible for improving overall health. And so when we're activating the stem cells and we're elevating copper peptide and we're getting these improvements throughout the entire body, you can see after a few short months, a dramatic improvement in the overall health. This, by the way, I thought I might show this. This is what Mandy looks like today after using X39 for 2 years. It's really incredible. She is, here's this picture that I showed you a little bit earlier, and that's what she looks like today. Down in Australia, they call her the poster girl for X39 now. And you can imagine how excited that she is at this transformation that's occurred. This is after day 1 year, 2 years. She had one other, this is kind of gross, sorry about this, but so this fellow, I believe he was 12 years old. He stood up and tripped and fell, and his head landed on a glass table, and the ear was severed, and they had to rush him off to the hospital. And so here you can see they rushed him to the hospital and they applied these stitches. And then let me just show you what happened after just a few days on X39. There we go. This was 12 days after the injury. So we receive testimonials like this all the time. And it's important to show those because first we have the scientific information. We've done the clinical studies. We have over 80 clinical studies on our products that we've done over the last 18 years. And we've been able to show in the laboratory with people that the product works. It does what we say. But the important thing is that this is helping people in real life in some incredibly dramatic ways. If you're already healthy, of course, that's wonderful. That's what we want. X39 is going to support your health. But if an accident occurs, you have now a wonderful way of supporting your healing and helping the body to heal itself faster. And so I think with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for that very enlightening topic about the stem cells and, of course, those amazing photos. Wow, you're really an instrument of wellness, such a powerful instrument of health, you know. And I would just like to share with you, I actually have an 86-year-old mom. She's a manager of Lifewave. I'm a distributor as well, a director, as was introduced earlier. But my mom has been here in the house since lockdown because of COVID. Here in the Philippines, we've had community quarantine since March. And so my mom has not been able to go out of the house because of that. The law says that 66-year-olds and above cannot go out of the house. So it's also a mental health issue for many seniors because they feel they're imprisoned inside the house. But my mom has been using the Lifewave patches regularly. And I have to tell you that she's been so creative with a lot of projects here in the house. And I believe that the patches have been helping her very much. She doesn't feel bored. She's very energetic. And whenever there's a tendency for her to feel a bit unwell, she quickly recovers. And so I'd like to thank you for that. No, in fact, she spends a lot of time on the phone telling other people and her fellow senior citizens that the Lifewave phototherapy patches work. And because of that, even though she doesn't leave the house, she's been able to sign up distributors. Can you imagine that? Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, David. Yeah. And so we have a couple of questions here. I have at least 3 questions, and other people have other inquiries as well. The first one is, what should we look forward to in Lifewave for the next 5 years?
Funny that you ask. because actually we are going to be having a global event on Saturday, February 6th. This is going to be announced. I have to look at the exact date for the Philippines, but we're going to be having this event, and I'm going to be getting into great detail what's happening over the next 10 years at Lifewave. But the simple answer to this is that when the company started back in 2004, we were introducing products to improve general quality of life. So improving energy, relieving pain, and improving sleep. And then in 2006, we began to introduce products for anti-aging, like glutathione, carnosine, and Eon. Now with X39, we've entered the generation of stem cells and regeneration. So X39 was the beginning of our stem cell story, but it's not the end. So you have other stem cell and regenerative products to look forward to over the next 3 to 5 years.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. And personally, I think X39 works for me. I'm actually 50 years old, but I gave a talk to the Philippine Air Force yesterday and they thought I was much younger. So thank you, David.
Congratulations, you look great.
Thank you, thank you. So the next question is, can we use the X39 patch for organ transplanted persons or patients?
The answer is no. This would be the one case where we don't have a clinical study to say whether or not X39 would be safe. So of course, with organ transplants, people go on immune suppressive drugs, and all of our products really improve the function of the immune system. They support the overall health of the body and the health of the immune system. So we really don't know if our patches would be safe for people with organ transplants.
Okay, thank you for that. And the next question is regarding Alavida. We were informed patching Alavida is best at night. So if I patch X39 during the day and Alavida at night, that would be 24 hours patching. What is your advice on this?
Yeah, so the important thing is that you want to use any one individual patch for about 12 hours. So using X39 during the day and Alavida at night is perfectly fine because they stimulate the skin with different wavelengths of light. You can combine the patches as well. So a typical patching protocol for myself would be X39 behind the neck, carnosine below the belly button, and then the energy patches. I'll try different patches at night. So last night I used Eon and Silent Nights. So as long as you're limiting the use of any one patch to about 12 hours, you can use multiple patches if you like, and that's totally fine.
Okay, great. So thank you, David. And we still have a couple of questions, but I'm turning over the stage now to our Executive Director, Mylene Andaya. Thanks, David.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. David Schmidt. I'm really
Hi, Mylene. Nice to see you.
Yes, we are so excited today. And we know that you woke up so early. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. And because we had a miscommunication with the schedule, but you are there. We really admire your dedication to all of us. That's really amazing. You know, I first met Mr. David Schmidt last March 16 of 2019 during the grand launch in Manila Pen. I was just one of the attendees. And when I saw him explaining about planaria, about X39, I was having a problem then with my cervical neck. I have a cervical neck problem and I have plantar fasciitis during that time, and I was limping. And I tried X39 when I saw a lot of distributors who were awarded on stage. I told to my sister, someday I will be one of them. And today I'm so excited to see you inside the Zoom together with you, in front of you. And I'm already one of the 2 executive directors here in the Philippines, growing our team. We are almost 400 plus as of today. And we are here actually inside our Lifewave office together with Miss Dang. I would like to really thank her for all the support that she's been doing to Lifewave Philippines, and of course to our business partner Yoshihiro, who's been supporting us since day one. And I am really enjoying Lifewave in my health, helping other people, growing our team, looking at them looking younger, energetic every day. We've been reaching a lot of people here in the Philippines, and I always tell them it's because of having you as our team captain, as our inventor. You're so dynamic. You have a lot of fans here in the Philippines. We love you so much. We
Thank
call
you.
it
Very kind.
we are David Smith fanatics, you know. That's why when they heard that you will be our guest speaker, oh my God, everybody were so excited. If you see us, we really prepared. We did our makeup, everything. And from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, they've been watching you all over, a lot of Filipinos and other business partners all over the country. And we believe that because of your support of putting up our office here in the Philippines, we will be next in Japan in the next few years. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
You're
So
very welcome.
thank you so much. We have few questions here, and we would love you to answer it personally. What is your opinion of resting your body 1 to 2 days if we exceed the required patching time? Sometimes we can help it and exceed the 12 hours. Is it safe to say that we rest our body 1 to 2 days?
Yeah, that's okay. If you leave X39 on, for example, for if you sleep with it on and you left it on for 24 hours, definitely I would recommend give your body a rest. What happens is that if you stimulate the skin continually with light, eventually the body stops responding. So it would be important to remove X39, give your body a day to rest, and then resume again for 12 hours.
Okay, thank you. We have another question here. Regarding silent nights patch, I have clients, this is actually coming from one of our attendees here in Wellness Conference. I have clients who uses it for a week and they still can't sleep. How long, usually clinically tested, will the body respond to the patch in order the person to be able to sleep?
Yeah, usually people will respond within the first 7 days. So they should look at some other things that can disrupt sleep. Some of the more common things would be people don't sleep in a room that's dark enough. Even small amounts of light coming into the room can keep the body awake. The body actually makes melatonin in the absence of light. So having a room that's dark without any light on is very important. Another thing that people do is they eat very late, and the digestion can interfere with the quality of sleep. And another thing that happens, this is actually quite interesting, if the feet, you may not have this problem in the Philippines, but if the feet are cold, that can actually interfere with the quality of sleep. Also, some people, they like to have coffee or tea with dinner, and the caffeine can, of course, interfere with the quality of sleep. So if they're not having results with silent nights within the first week, those are a few things that they can look at that will improve their sleep.
Wow, that's good to know. Another question here. What is your daily patching protocol?
Well, I'm always experimenting. I do have a protocol that I use regularly, but I'm also creating new patches, and those things I'm going to experiment with. So today I have X39 on the back of my neck, and I have an experimental patch below my belly button. Otherwise, the carnosine patch would be below my belly button. I also use 2 sets of energy patches daily. I put one on the bottom of the feet, and I put another set somewhere on my upper torso. In the evening, I almost always use Eon now. For years, I would use the Eon patch during the day, But now since X39, I've changed that out and I use Eon in the evening. And I actually like that quite a bit because Eon is going to relax the nervous system. And I found that my sleep improves when I'm wearing the Eon patch at night. Of course, I'll also experiment with Silent Nights and Alavita in the evening.
Fantastic. Okay. What would happen to the patch or body if we reuse the patch after 12 hours?
So each of the patches last a little bit longer. Some of the patches can last up to 24 hours. The only reason why we don't recommend reuse is because once you peel the patch off of the backing, then the patch is no longer clean. And if a person were to apply a used patch to a cut, there would be a chance of infection. So if you wanted to reuse a patch, if you had used it for 6 or 8 hours, you could reuse it, but you'd want to make sure that you apply it to clean skin.
Oh, good to know. One more question. Is it okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. If we do not have any health issues, will I get any benefit from patching X39?
Absolutely. First of all, what happens with people, with everyone, almost everyone, is that as they age, the biochemistry is going to change in some pretty dramatic ways. So we know that for both men and women, the hormones are going to change. The levels of hormones change, and then hormone production declines. We know that the formation of proteins and peptides in the body will decrease over time. And we also know that the amount of energy that our cells make are going to decrease over time. So the patches are going to help reset the body to a younger state. So even if someone doesn't have any health issues, the patches are going to support the overall energy production in the body. They'll support the metabolism. They'll help elevate antioxidants to protect the cells from damage. The patches will help to manage inflammation. And of course, the patches will help to support the overall health of the body by keeping the stem cells young. So once we have our health and we don't have any health problems, we want to keep it that way. And doing things like having a good diet, exercise, sleep, and using the patches can all support good health.
Oh, that's great to know. By the way, Sir David, before we end our webinar for tonight, we just want you to know that this wellness conference, we've been doing this for the last 3 days. This is our 3rd day actually. Then we have one. Yeah, we have one more tomorrow and one more on Monday. This is actually a series of wellness conference, and the theme of the wellness conference is how to achieve the optimum health of a certain person. And we believe that using Lifewave patches and with your commitment, with continuous studies and the innovations, life would be better to heal the land. So we really thank you so much for all the things that you've been doing for all of us. And you've been inspiring us a lot here in the Philippines and all over the world. We have 1,000 members inside the Facebook page. There are combinations of members, guests, entrepreneurs, medical practitioners, and a lot more who would want to know more about Lifewave. So can you please give us a message as a parting message to all our guests who are listening tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here and investing in their health by learning about this technology and how they can improve their health with Lifewave. The good message here, the great message, is that as you age, you don't have to become weaker. You don't have to have a degradation in your cognitive abilities and your physical abilities. The really good news here is that aging is something that can be overcome now. While we're all going to age, the quality of our health does not have to degrade. And so by having a healthy diet, exercising, getting enough sleep, getting enough water, and using our technology, you can accomplish some really incredible things with your health, and even to a degree, reverse some of the signs and symptoms of aging. And our goal as a company is age reversal. And those are the type of things that we research. And that's ultimately what we wish to achieve, is helping people to stay young and healthy as long as possible. So that I think is really exciting, that we're in this age where these things are now possible when they used to be science fiction.
Okay, that's so great. So I would want you also to I want to introduce and honor some of the leaders here who've been working with us since 1 year and 7 months already. They've been working so hard with me, making this message known to all of the people here in the Philippines, even during pandemic time. We never stop, when we don't have time anymore to travel, because that's what we usually do before. We do our own simple presentations to different parts of the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. But when COVID, hit the whole country, immediately we are having our webinars every 2 weeks, and we came up with the wellness conference to give value to a lot of people, because that's the advocacy of Lifewave. So I have here with me Senior Director Grace Magposao. We have a Senior Director Rosemary de Guzman, Director Ms. Ilsa Reyes, of course our very supportive business partner, Mr. Hiro Mizuwachi. He's been always with us all throughout this journey. We have Benitan, Doc Benitan, our manager, Director Vivian Chua, Miss Clarissa King, our senior director. She loves you so much, David Schmidt. She said, I will stutter when I see David Schmidt. And Miss Director Dennis Giriba, of course, Angela, our very supportive customer service. We love these people. Miss Dang Davis, our general manager. We've been talking a while ago. We have a lot of plans for Lifewave, and together with you, 100% commitment. We are passionate to making this possible. And again, this is just the beginning. You have our 100% support and commitment. We just love Lifewave so much, and we love you too. And
Yes,
we love you. And we prepared a simple plaque of appreciation. We will be sending this by DHL. We will try our best. Miss Ilsa Reyes, can you please read our plaque of appreciation? This is just digital, but we will send it physical. We will let it print and send it to our CEO.
Thank you so much. That's really kind. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, I will read it now. Team Lifewave GPS presents this plaque of appreciation to David Schmidt for his invaluable insights and precious time spent with us during the December 1, 2, 4, and 5, 2020 Wellness Conference, Holistic Approach for Maximum Health. We are very grateful to David for being a true servant leader, passionately sharing his vision of wellness with his Lifewave family. We wish him more blessings and success. Given on the 4th of December, 2020, signed Mylene Andaya, Executive Director, Lifewave Team, GPS.
Thank you so much. That's so kind. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, David. And this is very special tonight. I emailed during the email that I sent to Ms. Dawn Davis and to you. I told you that this is the best gift you can ever offer to us this Christmas as we end our 2020, although this is very challenging to all of us. But looking at you, having you woke up so early. It's not it. We can see you. We can hear your voice. It looks like. Thank you. Really, we see your passion and commitment. We really thank you so much. And to all those who are listening to us right now, we are welcoming you, and we want you to be part of this growing family of Lifewave. We are in 110 countries and we are growing very fast. We just had our record of creating a sales of 100 million this 2020. So we would like to congratulate each and every one of you. And we are so proud to be part of Lifewave Philippines.
Thank you, Maylin. Wonderful job. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we need to end our wellness conference for today. I would like to invite you once again tomorrow for another webinar of our wellness conference. And this is so far the best day for our wellness conference for having David Schmidt. Thank you so much, and we love you.
Thank you, Maylin. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sir
Thank you.
David.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sir David.
Thank you.